Good evening and welcome to the stream. This is part number 30 of our ongoing journey to finish Might and Magic 2 on the Mac. And I must admit that when I started this task, I did not think that we would make it to part 30, but here we are. We have journeyed on for 30 parts, or 29 parts already, and now are on part 30, so on we go. There are still some missions to complete. In fact, quite a few of them we still need to solve. The quest of the circus, we still need to figure out when in time it is that we need to travel to help the king survive the battle, and both when and where in time. It's obvious that we need to travel, but it's not obvious as to which exact time period or where exactly it is that we should be. So that's an unsolved mystery, and once we complete that, we still need to take care of the square cavern, and we still need to, I would preferably like to finish up the circus quest and finish up the maximum hit points quest as well, to add to our hit points before we go into the final cavern and complete the game. So there is probably at least 2 streams, and more likely or not 3 left. Now, if there are 3 streams left, we would end at exactly 32 streams, and that's possibly a good way to end this on an equal power of 2. Today I learned from Twitch that I've officially become an affiliate, so I've added the option to cheer and to subscribe to the channel. Of course, you're very welcome to do so, but I'm doing this more for fun than for profit. But it's good to get some income as well, and I will use whatever income the channel makes to help the channel along for equipment and other stuff that we use on stream. But without further ado, let's skip into the game itself. Now, I have some emotes ready that I'm waiting for Twitch to approve for the channel, and right now I only have 1 emote slot for each tier, so you will only get access to 1 emote if you subscribe to a tier 1 subscription. It's still better than nothing, I suppose. Let's see. We have nothing in our backpacks. I think I've prepared fairly well before saving. Still, we should stock up on food. Hello there, Amiga 1200 gamer. Welcome to the stream. We are about to embark on an unknown journey to somewhere in this game. We have a vague idea of what it is that we need to do, and no idea as to when and where to do it, so all we know is that we need to travel through time with the talons of the orb and save the dead king from destruction and get the password. Now, we don't know when this dead king was alive, and we don't know where exactly it is that we can help to save him from destruction, so we will have to figure that out ourselves. In any case, the first task is to... Yeah, quite a few people that have visited this stream played the Sega Mega Drive release of this game. You're not the first one, I think you're actually the 3rd one that played that particular release. And it seems to have been pretty popular, and it's very similar but not identical. There are some changes, and including the fact that it seems to have been possible in the Mega Drive release to use the teleport spell just about anywhere in any cavern, but that is not the case in this game, or at least in this version of this game. And there appear to be some minor differences. And this is the Mac 2 version of the game, so it's in color. But when I originally played it, I played the black and white version of the game on my father's Mac SE, and I have the original box. Hard to show anything when you have the green screen active on the camera. This is the original box, whether you believe it or not, of the game. that I bought for the Mac. Now, it's both a lovely box art and there is also a very nice map in the box that is in pretty good condition, but the box itself is in pretty bad condition because I played this game a lot. It's full of all sorts of notes and maps. But I have never actually completed it, so that's my task right now to get it done. But here is the time machine, and I have no idea where it is that we should go, but I will try for the 8th century. Now we've been here before. We have solved some missions in this period, so you can see that it's already day 18 in the year 800. But that should be fine. Now we just need to know where it is that we need to go. There are some encounters spread around the map. You can sort of avoid them by teleporting back and forth, but they seem to be in fairly fixed spots. No, these are not particularly hard. Yeah, I have finished the version 1 of the game on the PC. I have the GOT version of the game, and I finished the EGA version of it on the PC, and then I did play the Amiga version of game number 3 on my Amiga 500, and I might continue with this RPG quest on the Amiga version of the game, but I will probably shake things up now that I've settled in on the stream, so that I won't be playing this game on a nightly basis. I will probably play this game one day a week, and I will play some adventure game some other week, and I will spread it between the platforms, the Mac, the Amiga, and probably the DOS PC, and possibly some console, so that we can have some variety. I've done 30 streams in a row now with this game, and it's become quite repetitive. And if this weren't a game that I was very eager to finish, I would be very bored with it by now. So I think it's good to shake it up a little bit. Now it's obvious that the palace is not here. So this is not where we should be, in any case. At least it's not where we should be exactly this time frame. We know for a fact that Castle Cavern is here. We've already been here and finished up this castle, so we know that it's here. But there is nothing more inside this castle. And then the question remains, where is it exactly that we should be? Yeah, this is a decently big cave. Now, this is the Square Lake Cave. And we are back in the year 900, which is somewhat interesting. That's not the... that was not what we were intending to do. Let's go back. We somehow seem to have ended up in the year 900 again. Let's travel back in time. See if the cave is there. We need to find where this battle supposedly takes place. And we need to find when as well, so we might have to do a little bit of traveling before we get there. This game is surprisingly large, and it's not much bigger than the first version of the game. but it is still slightly bigger than the first version, and in addition to that, it was ported to a lot of platforms that you would think were not capable of running it, but including the Apple II. The original game came out and was programmed only on the Apple II, so okay, so in this time period there is absolutely nothing here. And I think I already verified that in fact none of the towns are actually active. Where does this battle take place? This is a completely valid question. Yeah, there is a surprising amount of resurgence in the retro community at the moment. There are tons of pretty interesting new games coming out for a lot of the different platforms. The C64 saw the release of Hired Swords 2, which is a great RPG for the Commodore 64. I haven't checked out this Apple II game, but sure it's pretty nifty as well. Now this town here is not present, so what is it that we do here now? How do we find where we should be this moment in time? One thing we could potentially do is just simply go to every square in every map and look. Of course, that's one way of just doing this. Just have these fights. There aren't that many of them, so I think it shouldn't actually be all that hard. And there are really no hints as to what it is that we should be doing. Castle Pinehurst is at least not here. Let's check the map next to us here, whether the teleports are still present. No, they are not. I see no other option than simply just going through every square and trying to figure out if there is something that we should be doing here. I think it's simplest to just do that and do that systematically. We will start by C2 and work our way outwards. We've been in pretty much every location in the game, and we've written down pretty much every hint that we've seen, so I'm fairly sure that the information as to when exactly it is that we should go is unavailable to us. Eventually it has been there at some point and we just haven't seen it. So many cat corpses here, and We will use the Holy Word spell to get rid of all of them. Just this stage of the game, this is mostly target practice for us. Little to be gained by having these encounters here, other than the fact that we simply need to be absolutely certain that we don't miss anything. I will walk every square and face in every direction as well, because sometimes things aren't triggered except actually being facing a certain direction while going over the square. In reality, this shouldn't really take all that long, as long as these fights are manageable here, which I think they will be. It's just be clear as to what I'm doing. I'm walking every square, facing every direction, and systematically going up and down the map. Yeah, and not only do you have to be on the correct tile, there are also multiple instances where you have to be facing a certain direction. So it's not enough to just walk every square, you also need to walk it and either do what I'm doing right now, which is the way I've used later in the game, or you have to do what I did at first, which was walk every square from both directions. That ends up just taking longer than the method I'm using right now. We're at the bottom now, yes. Might potentially be beneficial to cast a Wizard Eye here. Probably rest, recuperate some spell points. Sort of allows us to see what it is that we're doing. I've not used it much because obviously you lose the spell when you've passed a certain number of squares, and generally when we've been mapping we've had some very, very difficult fights, but this is not one of those cases. Most of these fights are relatively easy. There are a lot of grinding-like elements in this game. It's very much an old school RPG kind of game. You need to grind for treasure, you need to grind for experience. You also need to grind, like we have to do here, to find the correct places to do something. There are no obvious hints and you get very little help. It's just the way the game has been. However, having said that, we have actually done very limited grinding in the game. We mostly focused on exploration, and we've done mostly every task only once. But that has also meant that we've died quite a bit in the game. I don't know how. I don't have an exact count, but it's been more than a few times that we've perished in the game. And despite not grinding basically at all in the game, I've still had some. It's close to 2100 battles that we've had so far, and the characters have now been leveled up to level 37 and 8, so we are at this point fairly powerful, and we've finished basically every cave in the game. So now only this remains. The worst thing is not even knowing which square it's in, so there are 20 of these squares. If we have to do this with all of them, that would take a while. I am fairly sure it's either in this square or in one of the squares that is fairly close to it. The hunchbacks are here. You might think we're in the Notre Dame, but we are not. Beneath the hunchbacks are the crazed natives. They are very angry and they are frenzying as they do. It's little to do for us except just wait for them to finish that. Sort of lucky to escape out of this without losing all of our spell points. We came pretty close to doing so. Did not notice them there down at the bottom. Probably should have. Now, one of the problems is that, of course, we eventually get sent back to our own time. So we will have to travel in time quite a few times to finish this off. Now, what I will do now to make this slightly easier for us is I will I will head to the castle and go to the time machine and set the beacon right there in front of the machine so we can go directly there without having to take this little detour here. Save us a little bit of time, but not a lot perhaps. Let's get out of here. We're back in C2, so we were roughly here when we got sent back. Probably in this square actually. And this is probably the same fight that we had. Let's see, whether we lost any gems? No, we did not. Okay. Get rid of the. How many are there of the super sprites? Quite a few. Now I don't know how I would manage this game without the auto mapping. I played all of game 1 using mapping myself, and I did that using Excel, and that took forever. I know there are now some solutions which allow you to basically run the game within sight a mapper, so it will map the game automatically for you, which makes playing it easier. But just being able to use the map in the game makes the game so much easier than it otherwise would. Now here's Castle Cavern. We already know about this, and it can only be seen facing east as an example of particularly the problem that we were mentioning earlier. Okay, it's not in C2, that's for sure. That leaves C1. In reality, possibly some of the other areas here. It's somewhat unlikely that it's here. Somewhere around here. We're looking for a battle that supposedly takes place in another part of time, and we need to go back in time to prevent the battle, except we don't know when the battle is or where. All we need to do is, all we know is that we need to stop it somehow, but we don't know how to do that. We brought some items that we've been searching for most of the game. That much we know. Now it's possible that the game simply sends you to the correct area. It is possible, and if it does that, then we started out in D4. So I suppose it's possible that the battle takes place here. Potentially here in the cavern. Not immediately, obviously, no. But this is where the game sent us when we went back to the year 800. So walk this, see if we find anything. It's funny how the game handles this. It's basically just the outside maps that you can access for the most part, and most of the different areas are simply empty. There's nothing going on, and all of the different elements such as the town and the castles have simply been disabled, so it's not really all that different. But there are some areas of the map that are different, and I have a feeling those are separate maps for separate times. It's not immediately obvious that there's anything here actually. Town of Tantara is not here any more than any of the other towns. So it's not obviously here. Now, one thing that springs to mind as a possible location are here's the Isle of the Ancients, where the good and evil wizards were when we found them. It's potentially where we should check. There's nothing here, okay. And here would be very short tile. It's not active in the game either. This is where we would find Atlantium, the town. It's not here. Now, it's possible that the location we are looking for is simply not present at another time. Possible, but I think it's somewhat unlikely. I think it's a location that we've already been. It just begs the question of exactly when it is. And where it is. No less than when it is. Now, one option that we haven't considered here is that now, oddly enough, this works fine. You can use the teleport spell to go inside a building that is not here at this time frame. And we can also use the town portal spell to travel to a town that isn't there. I know this, I've tried it a few times. Nothing works, so the only way to get back is to rest and just wait to be sent back to your time. That does work. One thing that occurs to me that we could try now is we found nothing so far. We've done a little bit of searching. We could try going to the 7th century and check Castle Cavern in the 7th century, see if it's different. Potentially is. We'll try to remember to set the beacon now. That would actually be very useful. Cast Void Beacon, set new, yes. Let's go to the 7th century. And, if we go to the 7th century, we end up here in B1. Now, we've already solved one quest here in the 7th century. And we find ourselves in a very tough battle here. Already solved one quest in the 7th century, and potentially that is the only thing that we should solve there. Sort of raises the question of whether it should be another century. Let's give it a little thought. See, cast the protection spells here before we go, so let's save with the full crew. We've already done the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th century in the game because they are part of the elemental planes of water, fire, earth and air, which we've finished. Now, if there's only one thing to be done in each century, we've finished the 8th century because that was indeed the quest for Castle Cavern, and we've already completed the 7th and the 6th. The question then remains, do we try traveling to the 5th century? See what's here. Castle is not here in any case. Our Lord Hart was in the 7th century. Loincloth that we had to find. When in time was that? I'm going through my notes here. That was also in the 7th century. Okay, so we haven't really done the 6th century either, so should potentially try that then. Revert to the saved game here. If the 8th century is Castle Cavern and the 7th one is Lord Hart's quest, then potentially it's the 6th one that we should be going to. And perhaps there is nothing in the 5th century. It's our working theory for now. Set the beacon here again. Number 6. And where do we find ourselves then? We find ourselves in E3. Oddly enough. Now, why is it that we are in E3? This is a stupidly difficult battle here that I will not have. We have no chance of surviving this battle here, just none at all. So we will have to go back. Probably jump around the map to find some locations where we can actually find something. Find it very unlikely that it's in the middle of the desert. I have no idea why we got placed there, whether that's just a coincidence or whether there's something in that particular square that we need to access. We could go in here, it's not that hard. Need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares up to start. Hope we don't run into an encounter, which of course we do. Not an impossible one, however. Damn Mystic Clown here to take him down. Cast a Moonray spell, we are on the outside, that's a useful spell. Now, this game lives up to its name in the sense that Might and Magic is indeed what this game is about. You need the fairly powerful melee weapon fighters at the front, and then you need pretty powerful magical casters at the back. And at the moment, the most powerful thing we can do is, particularly on the outside, is use the Moonray spell. The Moonray spell both does damage to the enemy as well as healing the members of the party. That's the clerical spell that we use, and the Dancing Sword spell is the preferred sorcerer spell. Causes quite a bit of damage to multiple enemies. We do run out of spell points pretty quickly, although the sorcerer can cast it often before succumbing. We gain some 200,000 experience and we find a decent amount of golden gems. Now we can turn around here and teleport directly to the middle here. Some 4 squares forward. Is there anything here? No. This was the most obvious place in the map. But okay, since there's nothing here, we will leave this map. It does seem that all of the fights here are much more difficult. It's built with elementals. Which of course kill all of us if we happen to run into them and aren't successfully running away. The question really is, where is it that we should be going? Is it Castle Cavern, or is it someplace else? Not giving up completely yet. We are in 5-5. I will go 5 forward here. Go into D3 and take us 9 forward here. The further 5. Now we're in C3. Let's see if this path is clear here. Yes, it is. Castle Cavern is at least not here. Neither is the Chosen One's cave. Most certainly not the town of Middlegate. That is not the case. So when could it possibly be? I'm reading through my notes here, seeing if I missed anything. Let's go visit Lord Hart again. See if he has any further tips for us. He was here at, I think it was 5-5. Not in this era though. Dismiss the hireling and get back to our own time. Don't think there's anything here. That's at least not immediately obvious if there is. Let's go pay Lord Hart a visit here. Yes. Yes. We know this already. Okay, we've already finished this. This was the 7th and the 8th century. No, in the 8th century was also the Castle Cavern, so that was not the case. I will try visiting the Queen in the castle again. See if we get any better instructions. We're somewhat at a loss as to what it is exactly that we should be doing here. Now this is a pretty weird encounter. You can beat it, but nothing really happens. It's just an encounter. It claims it's a keep of some sort, but you can win this battle. It doesn't change anything. There's no way of going in here. And it doesn't spawn again. Somewhat weird. Yes. Let's go here and have an audience with the queen. Here's the joke of the day. What's a ghost's favorite game? Hide and shriek. Funny guy. Remember to rescue my father. Okay. How is it that we do that, dear? It's not that I don't know that we should rescue your father, it's more that I have no idea how to do it. Let's look in my notes as to what she said originally. She said, at last the true and brave Triple Crown winners. From your party, I bequeath a chosen one to save my father and our beloved Crown Sea Lord Peabody to change history. Okay. We've already seen Lord Peabody. He's in Castle Pinehurst. He's the guy that has the time machine. Let's see what he said at the time. All he said was, please return to me with my boy Sherman and I will reward you, which we did. We found Sherman on the outside and returned him to Lord Peabody. Now, and as a reward, we were able to use the time machine in the corner. But it does not state anywhere how exactly to do that. Nor where we should be going. We can remember to save your father. The problem is that we don't know how. It's not that we don't want to save him, it's that we have no idea how to do it. Let's see. Let's go back to Pinehurst. Check if the circus happens to be there. That would actually be very interesting. We've been looking for it for ages. Always says that the circus was there. There must be something obvious we are missing here. This can't be just a guessing game. Now, these are the only areas we can actually go to. Let's restore the save. We've done nothing of value here. I'm almost certain that this is, as I was before I started, that this is century 8 that we should be going to. And that we just haven't found this square. So let's go back to the 8th century and map all of the square that we end up in and see if we can figure out where it is that we should be. Want to go to era 8. We start here in C4. And C4 that we start in, not D4. We already mapped all of D4. Okay, that was a mistake on my part. I wasn't paying close enough attention. Let's map this then and figure that the game at least would send us to the correct map. If not, perhaps exactly the right point in the map. Okay. There's an encounter here. The phase spirits, they are, I think, impossible to fight. Go back, restore, try again. At least you know that the encounter is there. I will not try mapping that particular square. Go to Pinehurst. Like many things in the game, this is quite difficult. Usually, at least so far in the game, every time you get frustrated, you eventually get rewarded. So let's go back here and do all of these squares here. We were on the last one there. Okay, it's right here in front of us. All we had to do was go one square forward. King Callon eyes your party appreciatively. He wonders if you could give him the element orb and the 4 elemental talons. Yes, you can certainly have them. King Callon the Conjurer thanks you greatly. He then engages in an epic battle with the Mega Dragon. History has changed and he wins. Return to the 10th century for further instructions at Luxus Palace Royale. Okay, that was all there was to it. It was as simple as this. We only needed to go one square forward. If we had only walked straight forward and instead of trying to go to the Castle Sabran, we would have just stumbled into it. But the game gives you absolutely no hint as to where to go. It's just there is nothing written anywhere that states what it is that you need to do. So I will dismiss the hireling. We will rest here and go back to the 10th century. And pick him up again. Let's to reorder the party here. The reason I'm dismissing the hireling is because we have to pay 50,000 every day for the hireling, and resting multiple times while he's in the party will simply cipher all of our money, which is already pretty low. Yeah, at this point in the game it's become very difficult to have a hireling. You need to be constantly battling fairly high level monsters to keep up with the cost of having the hireling. So save once more here, and then we'll head over to the Luxus Palace to see what it is that we need to do next. This is getting pretty exciting. Missed the joke of the day. Here's the joke of the day. What's a ghost? It's the same joke as before. We're on the same day. King Callon sits once again upon his throne, proclaiming, "Now you face your gravest task of all. Go to Square Lake with the password wave. The future of Kron is at stake." Okay. Let us see here. I'll write this down in my journal here. Okay, we know where the square cavern is, so I'll stop by and see if the circus has returned. This is an old school game, so it is pretty much necessary to keep notes, so I've kept a document pretty much all through the game. The circus is still not back. Very annoying not to be able to complete this quest with the circus. Let's head here to town and we will sign the registry here, save this progress, and then go to the Square Lake Cave, which is just right here in front of us. Chosen ones only. Guess we are. Let's turn on all the protective spells. We are definitely going to need them. We've been in here before. The sign said Believ's bestiary, and that is indeed the case. There's an encounter here at the end of each corridor where you face different monsters from different eras of the game. And we got onwards, but eventually succumbed here to pretty difficult monsters. So we will probably have to persevere here quite a bit, so my plan is to finish one corridor at a time and see if we can if we are able to cast the beacon spell in here. If we are, then we can go back. This one, for example, is just incredibly difficult. We are going to very much end up dead here. It's good to have saved, so we don't have to go visit the king again. Let's go right back, get right back to it. Let's see first whether we can actually cast the beacon spell here. No, we cannot cast a beacon spell here. That certainly makes this more difficult. That means that if we want to exit, we will have to go all the way back. Okay, let's go in. Try our luck. This is much easier. We have just some sprites here at the top. And the Usu warriors are all there at the bottom. See how far we get here now. Don't think we will actually get very far. No, we will not. Let's try this again here. This is gonna take a while if we can't do this in chunks, then simply have to rely on being able to somehow get out. And the problem with that approach is I assume that you can't use the teleport either. So the problem then is that the only way to make it to the end is to fight all of them and win. And this one is much easier, even easier than the first two. So I think we will simply have to rely on the battles being pretty easy, which is just a roll of the dice, so we might have to make hundreds of attempts at this. We finish off the first one here, but there are at least 15 of them left. Yeah, I think it's actually a higher number, Chiz. I think we should go with 2 to the power of 32 at least, potentially more. Yeah, might well be. It's this game is a real pain in the ass. This, however, is the final cavern in the game. So there's nothing more to do, there's nothing more to say, this is it. And although these battles have been, we got unlucky here a few times, these have at least been relatively tame. So much of this is random and luck based that our chances of hitting what would seem to be pretty much the perfect situation for every fight seems very slim. And we have no way of saving our progress, and we have no way of returning back here without having all of these fights again, so we will simply have to be pretty lucky to actually make it out. Now we're done with 2 of them, and there are 14 of them left, I presume. You can see how the cave sort of winds around itself here, and at the start of each new row there is a new encounter. This time around there are 150 merchants. Yeah, that might be the case. I don't know why it is, just that we are always playing these incredibly difficult games. Maybe it's just that we like the challenge of these games, and maybe it's that we can't accept losing. It's either one. In this case, I have been trying to beat this game for quite some time, and this is basically the furthest I've ever been. We are pretty close to being at the end of the game. Now, I don't know if we are quite strong enough to beat it, but we'll try. At least we have the password here. Yeah. Not all of them, no. Some of them you will only play once. Sort of depends on how the story is. But this game has certainly taken me back. According to Twitch, I've spent 92 hours streaming this game so far, and that's in addition to the hour I've spent tonight, so we're at 93 hours and we are not done yet. So it's 100 hours on stream, pretty much, give or take. Now for the next one. Okay, these damn mistwriters, so many of them here, and at this terrible place. I don't think we stand a chance in this fight here. There are so many of them. And yes, that is indeed the case. We are going to have to start from scratch here. They will kill us now, and we will start from scratch. One thing we could potentially do to help us a little bit is that there is a way in one of the castles to gain the maximum number of hit points that we could have gained had our statistics been exactly what they are right now. And did not mean to step there. That was unwise, as they say. Go back here. Heal, okay. Where was this again? It's in the Luxus Palace Royal Dungeon. This is that one. We go back to the teleport square to the castle dungeons. Let's go there right now. We could go there. That would help us gain a few hit points. It will not make us invincible, but it will help us. It's fairly annoying that we can't complete the circus quest, because that one basically would help us a lot, but the circus is never there. At least I have not been able to find exactly when it is during the year that it's there. There is this area here, which is basically just a way that the game allows you to cheat a little bit. You can enter into any of the dungeons simply by stepping into these squares. It's a matter of remembering where to step to get to Luxus Palace. It's not this one. Try the one next to it. There are 4 squares that are used for this. This is the one, and it's in level 2 of that particular dungeon that we want to go. So we need to find the door down that is here, and it's here in X0Y15. So we will not have any of these fights if I can avoid it. We need to go up here to 9. That of course is a random teleport. Mapping this was a pain in the ass. Where are we now? 10. The problem with all of these locations is that there is no way to avoid having all of these endless barrels, so you end up having to have all of these encounters, often ending up dead. The game judged the difficulty level of the enemy based on your difficulty level. So even if you've leveled up like we have, battles are still quite difficult. Nothing in this game is ever easy. There we know. Thank you. Now let's go 8 up then, if 9 is not an option. Then a further 7. This is the square looking for some help. I know that we've all gotten an overall deal. I don't think that a fair shake is too much to ask. For only 1 million gold, I will sell you all the hit points you should have. It's 1 million, not 500,000. We need to raise some money. Let's gather all the gold here and see what this brings us. She only gained 12. That's not really worth it. So potentially this is good in combination with the circus. The problem here is that the circus is not here, so we can't finish this off. I wanna try here to visit the dragon cave and see if we are any closer to being able to finish that off. We might not be. We've never been able to complete this cave here. There are still some elements of it that we haven't been able to fully complete. And that has made things difficult for us because there are certainly armor items left in this cave that we've not been able to get. We've been able to find decent armor for the knights and the paladins, but not really for the magical casters in the game. And at this point in the game, that's a major hindrance. So let's give this one more go here. We've leveled up a few levels since we attempted this last time. I have a feeling we will end up very dead here very quickly, but let's see. Now this dragon has an insane amount of hit points. And we have pretty much no chance of fighting him. And that remains the case. Let's do one thing then. Let's go back to the castle and see which characters benefit most from fixing up the hit points. See if that is perhaps enough for us to get where it is that we need to be going. And then spread the gold so that we are able to buy it for those that desperately need it. We need to find the way down here. Where are we? To be here. It's at least obvious that doing the same thing over and over will not help us in this. This is an encounter square. Now we found if we go 8 forward here and then 6, we end up in the correct location. So I will cast the beacon right here and we'll travel back to town to save the beacon and then go back. Also cast the protection here for saving again. Let's go. Let's see who it is that benefits most from this. We'll start with a knight here. He goes from 524 to 722. That's a worthwhile investment, I would say. Now let's try the paladin. He goes from 468 to 646. That's also worthwhile. Let's try the archer. He goes from 460 to 608. That's also worthwhile. Cast a light here. I don't think we can do this with the hireling. No. So that's impossible. It's funny that we don't seem to lose any money by doing this. However that works, whether there is a bug in the game or whether this is just a ruse on the behalf of the game. So far we've managed to not pay anything. We've gained quite a bit. The knight gained roughly 300, the paladin gained 200, the archer gained 200, the cleric gained about 110, and the robber gained about 130. However, the sorcerer gained almost nothing, but that is somewhat the way the game has been so far. So at least we've gained now quite a few hit points. That turned out better than expected, perhaps. Let's head back to Millgate. The circus is still not here, I suppose. That would allow us to adjust the statistics, which would certainly help. It's actually, as I've mentioned multiple times, never here. So never mind. We'll just go back in. I want to cast the protection spells and a light before saving, so we can go directly there. Let's try this again. We've gained quite a few hit points. Perhaps we are powerful enough now to attempt this. That went well. And it's not this fight that is the problem. It's the later ones. This one is easy. The cat corpses are undead, so all we need to do is cast the Holy Word spell and get rid of all of them in one spell. This one is very easy to handle. They all die here. We'll rest anyway to recuperate our spell points, so that we are as fully armed as possible before heading into the next one. This one isn't crazy difficult either. Super sprites are not really all that difficult, they just curse you, which is more annoying than difficult. Level matters here, because for every level that you gain an additional point in protection from magic and the elements, so it's fairly important at this stage in the game to be a high level. A bunch of bloodsuckers, we will take them down the old-fashioned way, if they don't all run away anyway, which they might. Yeah, and by the way, cheers for hanging out here quite a bit during my time here and helping me convince Hayes to raid the channel. You've earned a VIP badge. Which of course is mostly for show, but it's still cool. Oh, what are these gatekeepers? What is it that they do? Okay, they're not that difficult. These elven archery sounds tough. You threw the elven archer a pretty difficult spell, and it looks as though he was barely affected. We've hit him now with 1,000 XP hit points, but he finally went down. Let's fight these burglars. I assume we can use this fountain with the hit points more than once, so if we find a way to adjust our endurance, which I hope we eventually will, then we can raise them quite a bit more. The problem with that is that we have to wait for the circus, which I assume will be here at some point, but it's not here now. Now this is a trickier fight. These devil's envoys are quite difficult, and in addition to that, they the hatchetmen at the bottom, they have this annoying habit of being able to make you unconscious with a single blow. They hit you with a hatchet and you become unconscious, so that's not fun. One option that we have is to run away, and that will basically make the game juggle the enemies that we are about to face. This one was also pretty difficult. Perhaps the best trick here is just to try to run away when we hit something that is impossible. Still not there. This one is tough as well. They are all tough. The sorceress is quite difficult. I will cast the power shield here. That should potentially help us a little bit with the sorceress. The problem is that if she is able to hit us, then we are, for all intents and purposes, forced to go back to town. We will not be able to fix the condition ourselves. One down. Only one. At least there are less of the sorceresses at this point. And, power cure the cleric here. Take down these Cuisinart before they kill everyone in the party. They've already done quite a bit of damage. Bunch of fuckers. I'd say we're dead here. So we try again. Let's go there again. I assume that these fights are in some order of difficulty. The first ones aren't all that difficult, but this one we've been killed on twice now. So the first ones are basically just simple traits of strength. This one, for example, is just a few hundred of these cripples, and they are barely making a dent in us. We're not even using magic to fight them. They are mostly just running away from us. So the second one is similarly easy. However, the third one is very difficult. Or is it the fifth one? Get. We might have to retry this until we are lucky enough with a roll of the dice, which might be quite a few tries actually. Down they go eventually. This is 2. Bunch of jugglers, some lightning bugs. Also very easy. This is not hard at all. We will rest and recuperate here. So 2 down, many to go. Now this one is more difficult. There are 2 of the armored dragons down there and they advance to the top. Let's see what we can do about them. Down goes the dragon. That leaves the plagues here. I'll take them down and then beat the lepers. This is number 4. Bunch of scorpions, burglars and some assassins. Down they go. That was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's probably 5 that represents the issue here. Or is it later? This one isn't all that difficult either. Except for the high priest there. He's a pain in the ass. Potentially he's quite difficult. Let's cast the power shield. This is going to be a problem here. Let's see what we can do. Let's run away here. No. Recuperate. It's not good when you run into these that you haven't seen before. The high priest appears to be significantly more difficult than the priest. Somewhat, perhaps unsurprisingly, but it's not like it's a scale of 2 either. Or like a scale of 10. Okay, this is a different fight. It's difficult as well, but in a different way. The Devil's Mouse is quite hard. He has an absolute ton of hit points. Does a lot of damage. However, we've lucked out a little bit here in that only 2 of them are at the front. So potentially we can use that to our advantage. Let's see how this progresses. I would say that this is the most beatable one that we've seen so far, at least. We still have at least 1 cast of the dancing sword left, so that helps. we will, of course, eventually run out of spell points, but it hasn't happened yet. There are only 11 of them left, which is certainly less than there was a moment ago. We will have to use quite a lot of our time on healing, see if we can slowly heal as we have the fight. Oh, that was very unfortunate. Both the paladin and the cleric became unconscious in the same round, potentially causing us massive problems. There are only 2 real fighters left standing in the group, but there are also only 3 of them. So this is not a good situation to be in at all. We eventually go down. We could have fought this a little bit smarter, and we came pretty close. Oh, I think this is actually doable. It's just incredibly difficult. Lots and lots and lots of stranglers. Not a good monster to fight in any real numbers. Have to be careful. Oh, that's very successful now. There are 8 of them left, and they are all slowly becoming paralyzed. Just bad news. There's only 1 of them left. It's becoming increasingly likely that we make it out of this. And we do. see. This is mostly a slug to see how many hit points we have. The Chris natives will all explode here, slowly removing our hit points. Don't think they will potentially manage to kill anyone, but there are quite a few of them. I would almost prefer if the toughest battle was at the start. We didn't have to go through all of these again and again here on our way up, before eventually getting to the fight that matters. And potentially the next one after that is even more difficult. We'll have to see. They'll have to make it through the 5th one first. This is going to be fairly tedious. The mugger has already added some of his friends, so there are now almost 200 of them. Next one is not a tough one. That's number 4. This one actually is sort of tough. The Devil's Envoy is not easy at all. There's so many of them as well. We will very quickly end up dead here if we don't find a way to reduce the damage. They are doing a real number on us here. No, we are not in any immediate danger for the most part yet. There are 10 here at the front, and there are still some 6 left at the back, and we are having a hell of a time trying to bring them down. Wonder if we still have enough to cast the shield. Yes, we do. Might help a little bit. Let's see. We are slowly running out of spell points. Got 12 of them left here now. We are mostly doing okay. The power shield seems to be helping quite a bit. We're out of spell points for the paladin, so he will not heal us anymore. Leaves the cleric. We still have quite a few left for the cleric. So we'll be able to do quite a bit more healing from him. Than only one party member at a time, obviously. That also means that we will use the cleric or the paladin for the fighting, so that also increases the damage that we do per turn. Still, however, 7 of them left, which is quite a bit. Yeah, thanks for coming, Amiga 1200 Gamer. Hope to see you again here soon. Have a good sleep, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cheers. Thanks for coming. Have a nice sleep. I hope you sleep well. Yeah, Mondays are always quite a bit difficult. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Hope to see you again here soon. I have no idea if this is the last stream in this series, but I sort of assume that it isn't. We are going to get out of this one alive somehow after all of this. Finally go down. We receive some 700 and something thousand experience points, which seems like a crazy number. Although some of the party members were stripped enough that they ended up dead. Now it's time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5 cockatrices. 13 lich lords. Oh, that is crazy. Let's not do that. See what the dice brings us if we try that again. Mounted patrols and plant golems. I'll take this one. Be very smart about how we approach this. Need to take down the earthworms as soon as possible. Cast a shield here. It should protect us at least a little bit. Okay, this has now become manageable. The trick here is that the plant golems, they are mostly immune to melee attacks, so you have to take them down by magic, and you don't want to waste the magic on the top level monsters that were on this list. So we waited until now to cast the more powerful magical spells until most of the golems are here at the front. But we are, however, strong enough now for at least a knight to actually occasionally cause damage to the golems. Now we can use the dancing sword spells, and when they work against the golems, they cause quite a bit of damage. Cast them maybe twice. I'd cast them once again for the sorcerer. She can have one more go at the dancing sword spell, but then I will revert to the disintegration spell, since that uses only a small portion of the spell points. If we cast the dancing sword spell, we will run out of spell points before we manage to bring all of them down. So I will cast a disintegration spell instead, which does quite a bit of damage and works pretty well on them. Now, this is most definitely a difficult fight, but it's nowhere near as difficult as the ones we've seen so far in this location, and the only reason it's that the game would classify it as in a similar difficulty level is because the plant golems require a lot of strategy, but they actually aren't that difficult. Once you know how to fight them, they are pretty easy to bring down. And if we had gone ahead with a full amount of spells at the start, we would have run out of spell points and found ourselves in an impossible to finish battle. Yeah, part of the game playing tricks is that it very often places difficult monsters near the bottom of the list. So if you aren't careful or not paying attention, as I haven't been in many instances in the game, you find yourself in a very bad situation, already out of spell points, fighting tough monsters that need high-level magical spells to take down. And then you end up dead. This went about as well as we could hope. Yeah. Got out of this one alive. So now we've finished 5 of these battles. That's a decent chunk. I assume that it won't get easier. Let's see. No, it's not about to get easier. Although it somewhat depends on what happens with the Guardians. They will wait, at least these will. I don't want to waste any of the high level magic on these easier enemies. I'll cast a power shield right now to reduce the damage. I should have done that in the previous round. I'll cure the archer. He was pretty badly hit by these. Take down the blobs here. And the Mist Rider as well. They are pretty difficult. Now, in a way, it's a blessing how few of the monsters are at front, so it somewhat reduces their chances of attacking us, but still there are quite a few of them. The Mist Rider really should be dead by now, but he's not. Let's start casting the Dancing Sword spell, see how we do. Didn't want to waste it on the easier ones, since we have very limited chances of casting it. We still have to somehow figure out a way of making it through. Many of the members of the party have lost a significant amount of hit points. Luckily, the Guardian actually doesn't have all that great of a number of hit points, so potentially we have a decent chance of getting out of this one alive. Now it does seem as though this battle is a little bit easier than some of the battles before it. I sort of wonder whether we could be in a situation where whether it's potentially such that if the first battles aren't easy, then the rest aren't as difficult. That could be. For the first few rounds that we went in here, the first battles were actually very easy going. This time around they were medium difficulty, so it seems that these battles are not quite as hard, so maybe that's the key. Now we still have quite a few rounds left of the Dancing Sword spell still, and we are doing okay with the fighting. Let's do one bout of the Dancing Sword spell. We still have one left. There are only 7 of them left. Our chances here are getting pretty good. I would even go as far as saying they were excellent at this stage. Only 3 of them left. Only 1 of them left. So we are going to get out of this one victoriously. So now we've done 6. That's the furthest that we've ever gotten so far. I assume there are quite a few of them left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably at least 16 of them. It's just a matter of how difficult they are. We have no way of knowing. Let's find out. This one is also difficult. The vampires, they cast lightning bolts, and the necromancer is difficult. Let's start with a dancing sword, take the necromancer out, and then I will cast a power shield to reduce the damage from the vampire. And then I will cast the holy word spell, which eventually got rid of all the vampires. So that was not all that difficult. Let's rest and recuperate our spell points. So some of these are just the experience of fighting the monsters in the game. Obviously we've fought almost all of them before, so we've gained quite a lot of knowledge as to how to beat them. If it's about strategy, then we can more often than not win. If it's only about pure brawn, then it depends. This one is stupid difficult. There are 13 element hydras. There is no way we can survive that. Won't even try it. So let's have another roll of the dice. This shows how far we've traveled so far. We are more than halfway done up the cavern. Now, troubadours and necromancers. This is an easier one, although it's still difficult. Shoot down the nasty witch here. Now, the necromancer has the ability to cast the Finger of Death spell, which is a real problem, but he has a low number of hit points, so if we are lucky, then we can potentially get away. We can certainly raise the dead. So, and one of the advantages of the necromancer is that he doesn't really do any other damage, so even though he casts this spell, he will not necessarily beat us. In addition to that, he's also afraid of us, so he will run away some of the time because we're of a high level. This battle went better than perhaps it could have. And we've now done 8 of these, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we're about to do number 9. Okay, the master ninjas are quite tough, but the vampires are easy. Take down the illusionist. I will not spend time on the vampires, since we can remove them using the holy word spell. That leaves the ninjas here at the top, and they will be quite difficult. Let's use some magic on them. We're going to need it. We also had to revive the paladin. Now we can cast a power cure on the paladin and use the paladin to cast a power cure on the knight. Once again, having the 2 casters in the crew is made some major bonus. We've already removed quite a few of the spider bugs. They are going down as we slowly wear them out. Now we need to be extra careful here. These master ninjas are certainly not to be trifled with. I don't know if I already cast the power shield. I will do it again just in case I didn't. And we will continue to try to cure as they go down. One of the ninjas is down. That's certainly an advantage. Now I will take this additional round that we got and use it to heal instead of using it to attack. That seems like the smarter thing to do. These ninjas have a lot of hit points. The does eventually go down and the bugs are not a problem. We get 716,000 experience points and we win the fight. Drop some of the very low value items here from the inventory, since our inventory is filling up with stuff. For some reason we found two sides there. One is plus 25, which seems like a pretty crazy plus number. Okay, so 9 of these are now done. Are we ready to face number 10? As ready as we will ever be. This one is tough, but not impossible. Get rid of these minotaurs as quickly as we can. We need to cast the power shield. Now, a clown is a major pain in the ass. He juggles the party. Cast the power shield right now. Start curing. No, actually we are doing pretty much okay. Let's cast the Holy Word instead and get rid of the ghosts. That was a pretty good move. Now the clown has made things incredibly difficult for us right now, because he's placed 3 characters here at the front, which should never be at the front of the party, but I think we will get out of this alive anyway. We can use the archer to shoot down the clown and we can beat down the minotaurs. Okay, so 10 of these are done, potentially 5 of them are left at least, and then we need to use the password. Let's go. Okay. This is tough. We need to pay attention to what we're doing. We'll run away here. The face spirit was very successful. Let's try this one again. The face spirit is quite difficult. If he manages to attack first, he will remove all of your spell points and then you can't remove him. If he doesn't get to go first, then you have a very good chance of taking him down. So It depends on the luck of the draw a little bit. Perhaps if we were a few levels higher, we would get to attack first. That matters a lot in this game. So let's try this one again. Okay, this is not that hard. That was stupid of us. Very stupid of us. We forgot to rest and recuperate the spell points. Let's rest here. We could have easily won that one. Let's hope we are as lucky when we go back. This game usually does not tolerate mistakes, but this time around it did. We were lucky in being able to run away. That is not always successful. This has become quite a run to get there. Okay, master robbers, we don't want to deal with them. Large part of these battles is knowing these monsters. Sometimes you what would have happened with the master robber is that he would have taken all of our gold, and I know it's late in the game, but that is a problem because then we can't pay the hireling and he will leave us, and we can't deal with losing a party member right now. This is easy. These dagger jaws are not to be trifled with. They are quite hard, but there are only around 10 of them, and then we have hundreds of these cripples, and they are not much. We can easily take care of them. We can take down the dagger jaws using the magic, and then we can use the melee attacks to bring down all of these cripples. Just a matter of things taking time. We cure the poison here, since that will not be good for us going forward. I will heal the poison here, and then we will simply quick fight our way through these 100 and something cripples that remain. We are victorious. Now I'm starting to get a false sense of hope here that we might stand a chance of finishing this cavern here. That's probably foolishness of me. How many sorcerers are there? There are 8. 7, they are at the top. Okay, we can do this. This isn't that difficult. Let's focus our energy on attacking the sorcerers first. Need to take them down as quickly as we can, using any means possible. One of them is down. Two of them are down. 3 of them are down. We manage to take down the rest, and it's just a matter of beating down these kobold captains. They won't represent much of a challenge to us, even if there are 200 of them here. The sheer numbers won't hurt us very much. We have a lot of hit points, and we cause a great deal of damage per turn, so there are only 2 at the front. There's we'll take down 2 or 3 every turn. It's a tactile exercise with the mouse to click as quickly as you can, because the message wait time is significantly long in the game, so you can click to move forward. So if I click fastly enough, the battle goes slightly faster. Eventually get about 160,000 experience points. We've probably gained an entire level worth of experience just during this single cavern here. We've done 12 of these fights now. I assume 3 at least remain. Now, surprisingly, there is no battle in this square. So there is a break from the fighting for now, after a dozen fights. There isn't one here either. So potentially we have managed to complete the encounters, except there of course might be a final one here. 66 Devil Kings bow down to the Chosen One. Care to attack? No. Seems like a absolute foolishness to try that. Can we cast a beacon here? No, we cannot. Can we jump past it? No, we cannot. And can we use the teleport spell? We cannot. Okay, we will rest, cast all the spells, and see whether we are any match for this fight. We don't seem to have much of a choice. There are 66 Devil Kings here. I don't think we have a hope in hell of completing this battle, but let's see anyway. So, immune to magic, of course he is. Let's cast the power shield spell. Let's try the holy word spell. That is basically our only hope here. It does not work, so don't think we have any hope of getting out of this one alive here. We can of course cast a divine intervention spell that will bring some of us back, but we still don't stand much of a chance. I should probably the Holy Word spell did nothing. We I don't know how we could even start to approach this. Let's try running away. We probably will be able to succeed in doing so, and find ourselves pretty much dead here. Now, there must be a way to get around this. This is an impossible fight, so it's impossible that we have to do this. We could never level up high enough to be able to complete this. Now, Friartuck is 80 years old. This is certainly a problem. Let's see if we can get him down a little bit. Okay, we can rest here. Have another go at this without having to fight through all of the battles here. At least we know we can do it though. Let's go back up there and see if there's a hidden way to get past this fight. Potentially a hidden passage that we can use to get past the door. There simply has to be. We still haven't been able to use the password, so I assume that there's a way to be able to do that somehow. Not quite there yet. Long run here through all of this. Now we should start checking here whether there is any way of gaining access to this. And there is not. Okay. But alas, there is also all of this area here that we should potentially check. Still nothing. Okay. Try again, just in case. I doubt it. No. Can we simply skip this and just walk through the door? Yes, we can. So we actually don't need to have this fight. It's optional. Okay. Thanks for that troll game. It's very trollish of you. There's one square here that we can't access. It's sort of weird. I assume you need to go in there if you win the fight. Hello? Are you ready? Hope so. Almost there. The end is near. Having fun? Getting closer. Keep going a little further. Here it is. Just kidding. One more step. This is it. This game is such a troll. Sheltem and his elementals guard the entry to the control room. Although you may defeat me, you're too late. Kron and all its warrants are doomed. A vacuum tube sucks the party into the control room. Kron is off course and headed directly towards the sun. Strange machine punctuates collision imminent. Enter override code to abort. Now we know this code. We went through a lot of trouble to obtain it. The password is wave. Thank you. Recalculating trajectory. Now a pre-recorded message sends shudders of terror up your spines. I am Sheltern, ruler of the planet Terra, of which Kron and all of its wands have been programmed for the answer to the now. Now let's write this here, take a screenshot of this riddle that we found. We are in a time jam. The answer is preamble. Let's I've written down most of the words here. Let's I will assume that this is some sort of rotational puzzle. It's very likely that it is, because these appear to be words. Very hard to, other than to assume that one of the good things is that when we click out of the emulator, the clock stops, so we are in fact cheating now. We are not up against the clock. Which is, I suppose, a way to get around this, but I'm not too worried about it, if I'm to be completely honest. to go to a website that allows me to reverse rot various different types of rot and see if I see any sort of text out of this using any rotation. Which I suppose is also cheating, but again, I could be more worried than I am. It's not a simple case of rot 13 in any case, far from it. Okay, that is not the case. Now we have some of the interleaves that we had before. They were mostly about they were not really about anything but particular orders. This more appears to be some sort of and it isn't a static rotation, so not every character is rotated the same. There's probably some sort of order to it. So let's start by adding one to the first letter of every word. Now a word will not start with a Y, and there are few two-letter words that start with a C. What makes you wonder if it's code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numeric characters. What does it mean by the answer being preamble? How does that help us? A preamble to what? Now I know what the word preamble means, but a preamble to what? So Google potential meanings of the word preamble. An introductory statement, preface, introduction, the introductory part of a statute, deed or the like, stating the reasons and intent of what follows. A preliminary or introductory fact or circumstance. An example of a preamble is the beginning of the Constitution. Interesting. So that would be very American of the game. How does the American Constitution start? It says, "We, the people of the United States." Okay. Let us assume that the first word there is "we," and that the other three are the people of. It at least fits in terms of number of characters. So what is then the solution key if it's X? Take a look at the ASCII binary code here. It's X and becomes W, then it's a -1. So the first letter is -1. Then the second letter is Y. Which is a long way away from the E that would otherwise be required. That's 20 minus 20. Now the comma isn't actually rotated at all. Then you have the J, which is then supposedly the T. -16, and then you have a Q that is then supposedly the H, so that's -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, -9, and then you have the Y, which is then the same. So all the Y's the text are E's. So we can take all of the Y's and replace them with E's. Do that. That's easy enough. I will make a new tab here. Paste this in and use find replace. To replace it. So it isn't perhaps simpler to just go through the text manually, because we need to mark where we've changed it with a different color, so I need to be extra careful about that. I will label all of them here. Label all of them with a different color before replacing them. There are quite a few Y's in the text. There is absolutely no way we would have solved this in 15 minutes. We're already close to being at the 15-minute mark. We are, however, fairly lucky that there are so many Y's in this text. Okay. Now I've labeled every one of them. Let's call up this. Want to allow you to see this while I'm doing it. Doing this in a different document to this one, but it doesn't matter. I'll spot this over. You can see it. Let's zoom in here. I'll do this here. Instead, I'll take all of the Y's. I'll mark them in red. Do this together. As you can see, there are quite a few of these Y's in the text. I hope I typed this all correctly, but being as this is probably a text, and as with red, green and yellow messages, we should be able to figure out the word even if there is a typo here somewhere. Let's hope there isn't. Okay, so now we've labeled all of these, and we already figured out that the Y is an E, so let's replace these, all of these. With an E. I think there are no additional Y's here. We already figured out that the X is a W, so now I will mark all the X's in the text. Or at least we think they're W's. It seems likely. We'll see in a bit. I'll label them with a different color, one that will stand out while we do this at least. Let's look for every X. There aren't any more X's in the text anywhere, so I'll mark this again with the red. We can use the blue for what we haven't deciphered. Now, if we are correct, then the J is a T. So we will mark every J. Quite a few T's are spread around. Go over it again, see if we find some more. No more. Okay, let's assume that this is then a T. This is a big T, capital T. This is definitely Terra then. And this is a T. And this is a T. And this is a T. 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 Okay. Now the Q is definitely an H. So we can take all of the Q's. Use the blue color here to make it easier to read. We've deciphered quite a bit here. Find every other Q. Here is one. Here is one. So this is in fact an H. So is this. So two occurrences of the word the. And this is also an H. Okay. And this is then potentially a W is a P. So we'll mark all the W's. Of which there are a few. Actually, not all of that many. And we will replace them now. The P. The Okay, and the N is an O. Should not have replaced it. We should found them first. So do this orderly, otherwise we will end up in trouble. Quite a few N's. That brings us quite a bit closer to finishing this. So this is in fact an O. Okay, P is an L. We'll mark every P that we find. Not the ones that we already solved. Here is one. Here's one. So there are only 3 of them. This is potentially an L. This is an L. Very important not to screw this up. This is an L, okay. This R is most definitely an F. So we'll mark that. There are a few of these. In fact, quite a few. Okay. The R is in fact an F. Now this is definitely, the O is definitely an R. I'm absolutely certain this is the word Terra, which is the name of this country in the game. So there are 2 of them in a row here. And potentially quite a few more. Yeah, there are lots of these. We have to be careful not to take the O's that we've already replaced. We have to leave them unchanged. This is a double R. This is an R. And so is this. This is an R. 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 Okay. This helps. We at least have the words for the. So you know for a fact that what's happening here is looks to be correct. Now the M is an A. So we will mark all the M's. There are quite a few of those as well. What we really need now is to figure out an additional word because we don't know what the rest says. Can't see any more M's, so let's replace those, see where it gets us. This is an A, and this is an A, and this is an A. So is this. Now this is definitely the word order. So the F is a D. Mark all the F's. Of which there aren't that many, but a few nonetheless. Okay, so this is definitely a D. Order is definitely a word. Okay, this is definitely in. or at least it's for sure that the N is an O. This is definitely 2. N is definitely O, so we'll mark all the N's. Of which there are actually very few, almost none. Fairly sure this is 2, almost certain it is. Okay, the B is definitely an M. This has to read order to form a more. It can't be any other letter, so B is an M. Let's mark that. All the B's, a few of these. There are 2 of them, and that should help. So this is an M. This is an M. This is an M. This is a double M. Now we, the people of Terra, this is probably in. It almost certainly needs to be in, but I'm not entirely sure it is. Order to form a more. This is definitely the word perfect. So Y is an E. Let's mark that. Are there more Y's in the document? Yes. There's one more here. So this is an E. That I'm almost certain. And the A is then a C. Mark out all the C's in the document. Or all the A's rather. And the ones that are left, there's one here. There's one here. There's one here. Okay, we'll replace them now. This is a C. This is a C. This is a C. And this is a C. Now this is the word common. So the C is an N. Let's mark all the C's. That almost makes it a certain that this is the word in. There are quite a few C's left in the document. Let's mark all of them here. Can almost read this now. It's becoming pretty clear. This is an N. 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 This is the word defense. No. It matters here whether this is the US or Canadian spelling of the word, so it could be either an S. It is an S because we already established that the A is a C, so this is definitely an S, so a T is an S. Need to find all of the T's. Here is one, here is another one. Here is one. Here is one. Here is one. We have to be careful not to change the ones that we already changed. So this is, all of these need to be replaced with an S, an S, an S, an S, an S, and an S. Now this is the word domestic. I think that's a given. So an L is an I, and we already kind of knew this. So it's this, and 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 this, and this, and this. These are all I's. This was a capital Y, it might matter. Y, Y, capital Y. Game has been case sensitive before, it might be again. In order to form a word, this is definitely the word union, so V is a U. Let's mark the V's. We are almost there. This is starting to take shape here. Quite a few V's left. So all of these need to be replaced with a U. We, the people of Terra, in order to form a more perfect union, this is the word establish, so J is a T. J's are there, I think it's just this one actually. So, but the K is also a B. So let's mark the K's. And it's only this one. So let's establish. The people of Terra in order to form establish. This has to be the word justice. So a D is a J. Let's find all the D's. There's only one of them, so and the T is then an S. Find all of the T's. There's only the one T. No, sorry, yeah. We, the people of Terra, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic. This is the word provide in any case, so the U is definitely a V. I don't think there's more than one U, however. So this is a V. We, the people of Terra, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic something, and provide for the common defense. Is this the word tranquility? There is an L here that we didn't change, which is of course an I. So let's do that now. Yeah, this is definitely the word tranquility, so a G is a Y. And the E is then a Q. Is this the correct spelling of this word? Just to be absolutely sure that Yes, it is. English happens to be my third language. And, it's better to be sure. Okay, we now have the solution key here. After quite a bit of puzzling. And decent amount of cheating because the game obviously is paused, which it should not be because we clicked out of the emulator. I assume that the message here, the message "We the people of Terra in order to form a more perfect union" and so on, is always the same. But I assume also that the solution is not the same. So now the answer is preamble. So we need to figure out if we had the word preamble, how would that then be in this code? A P would be an L, an R would be an F, an E would be a Q, an A would be a C, an M would be an A B would be an M, an L would be an I, an E would be a Q. So presumably the answer is LFQCAMIQ. LFQCAMIQ. Is that correct? LFQCAMIQ. Probably not. Let's go over this again just to be absolutely sure. To spread this into at least 4 lines here. And I want to color code all of these. We have plenty of time. The emulator just sleeps while we are color coding. Let's color code all of this. It's easier to read. All in the interest of making this legible. This is of course in no particular order, so we will also like to order this. The A is here, B is here. A C is here. D is here. The E is here. The F is here. There's no H that I can see. J is here. K is here. The L is here. The M is here. Missing the I here. No I either. There's no I in the original text, so that makes sense. It's fat like this. Q is here. R. So no S either. No, there's no S. There is a T. Now, this would be the U. V. E. W. X. Y. These are all duplicates. So how many of them are there now? There were 21. That's still the case. Actually. Okay, shouldn't matter for the end result. This should definitely still be an L, F, Q, C, A, M, I, Q. Try this again. Q, C, A, M, I, Q. Still not the case. Okay. Then perhaps this is reversed. So we need to read it from the other direction. So what would it then be if we code it in the other direction? P would be a W, an R would be an O, an E would be a Y, an A would be an M, M would be a B, a B would be a K, L would be a P, and the E would be a Y again, so it would be WOYMBKPY. Yeah. Congratulations because of your superior intellect. Now, let's not go overboard. We spent like 40 minutes solving this instead of the 15 we were given, but we probably would have done it faster had we actually known the code, but we would have had to take another run at the maze to be able to solve the code again. I want to switch back to the game here now that we've entered the code. Because of your superior intellect and diligence, you have saved Kron and all of its warrants. This ship, created by the ancients, is a grand experiment designed to populate this distant world. Prepare to beam down in Might and Magic 3. Now we will continue and play Might and Magic 3, probably the Amiga version, and I will probably do that. I will probably do that once a week on stream. We will play do one night a week, which will be RGB week, and potentially two. It sort of depends on how this progresses. So we could potentially play that game throughout the entire year. We'll have to see. But for now, let's continue here. We won 74 battles, lost 128. Our final score is 6895866767. This ranks you as one of the most accomplished game players around. Please register your score with the Ancients headquarters at New World Computing, PO Box 2068, One News, California 90404. P.S. Your bonus 50 million experience points. Now, should we register our score? Do you think that address is still active? I think it's not. Let's continue. We go back to Middlegate, and we can then potentially level up quite a bit here. And we can train like no tomorrow here. We reached level 60. That's quite a bit. I would say that the party is a bunch of badasses at this point. We're leveled up a lot. And in fact, the Sir Lancelot needs some 18,000 to level up to level 60. He's incredibly close, but the rest are slightly behind. Let's 59, 59, 58, 50, 60, 59, 60, 60, 59. They're all about to roll into level 60. Now Sir Lancelot has 995 hit points. He's almost hit 1,000. Now, as a final chapter in this nonsense, let's sign into the inn and save our progress here. I want to make one trip to the Dragon's Cave and see if we can defeat the damn dragon. Made so many attempts this game of doing that. I want to do that after I try to get the spell here from the center square, which we've already also tried doing multiple times. I will recast the protection from magic and protection from element spell. We now have 79 protection from the forces and 70 from magic, so that's pretty high. Let's teleport 2 squares and see if we survive. We survive, or did we go 1 square? We should have gone 1 more square. We only went into the went into the square in front of the spell. There is a spell hiding there that we haven't been able to get. I hate unsolved mysteries in this game and otherwise. So let's cast the protection again here and teleport again. A scorching wind burns your soul and a blinding light pierces your brain. Your skin bubbles as unbearable pain moves like lightning through your body and leaves no traces of life. We find ourselves dead. So it remains a mystery to me exactly how it is that we're supposed to get this spell. We're still unable to get it despite being at a level of 50 something, almost 60 for most of the characters. Seems crazy. Let's try another thing then, which is would then be to try encase ourselves somehow. Let's try the transmuting ourselves to earth, see if we can then fetch this spell. No, that did not help. Let's try transmuting ourselves to water, see if that helps. Those ambushes get really old really fast. Now, see, let's try more transmutation tricks. I think we already tried fire. And we tried earth. Let's try water. Don't think it should help us. And it does not. It leaves air. That's the only one we haven't tried. One, two, three, four, five forward here. We might as well just cast all of them. It doesn't really matter. We can cast we can't cast the spells that have to do with combat, obviously. We can cast all of the other ones. Potentially many other ones as well. One of them is the levitate spell. Try that. Can't cast the invisibility spell. We can't cast the fly spell. Can't cast the web spell. Guard dog we can cast. Where did it say that the Fingers of Death spell is? Perhaps you should check that out as well. Shelter we can cast. The other realize spell, what does that do exactly? Okay, interesting. That's one of the spells that allows you to move through pretty much anything. That's actually very interesting. Potentially we could use that in the dungeon for the areas that we have not been able to map. Let's go back to D1. And we are right here again. Obviously we can't cast this spell to get through the barrier. It doesn't change anything. Oddly enough, we did not die. Let's try this. We've cast every possible spell that I can think of. We die. It's all quite interesting. Now let's see, what did the when we went through Castle Cavern, it gave us the location of every spell. We don't have the Finger of Death spell, which is 5-2, which supposedly is in C1-1-8. Why don't we have that spell? What is in C1-2-8? Have we not completed something there? We are here. No, it's not 2-8, it's 1-8. It's here. Okay. 2 Grim Reapers. I assume this is a fight that we never completed. You will find an age scroll inscribed with the ruins for Fingers of Death. Okay. Completed that. Okay. Let's mark that as completed in the document then. That leaves 9-3, which is in D1-5-6, as we already know, and can't access for some reason. Let's double check that location. That's not the correct location. It's in 5-6. It's here. Okay, it's in 5-6. It's exactly in the middle there. How do we get it? How is it that we are able to gain access to it? We've tried accessing it in different time zones without any success. Yeah, the realize spell doesn't really work. It doesn't kill us, but it doesn't really work either. And then the 9/4 spell is in the Gemmaker's Cave at 3/3, which is also sort of interesting to me. Because we've already been there multiple times and we have not found it. So I think it's almost inaccessible. Let's go there right now. Maybe that's the spell that we need. Now the Gemmaker's Cave is right here. Now we're in here. It's in 3/3. 1, 2, 3. It's all the way down there. Okay. This is potentially okay. This was an area that we couldn't access, and to get to there we need to run all the way around here. Potentially this is what the other realize spell is about. To find our way here, which is quite a journey to get to the correct location. This is quite a maze. Might as well have called it the Gemmaker's Maze instead of the Gemmaker's Cave. You have to make it all the way down here. It's here, as I remember. Yes, it is. And down here, we're almost there at this point. Okay, if we now use the other realize spell, can we get in here? Yes, we can. A sweaty master gemmaker is willing to sell you the spell. Enchant item for an undisclosed price. Buy it? Yes. I don't care what it costs. We need all the spells in the game. Now we've finished mapping this. We can't cast a town portal spell here, I think. No, yes we can. Okay, fine. We will save our progress. Now we have this enchant item spell. We found all except for the one that I really want, which is the Starburst spell. Let's go fight the dragon and see if we can finish that. Potentially we will find something that will help us gain this spell. If not, we will come back to this tomorrow and finish closing off some open ends. There are still some locations that I would like to use the other realizer spell on. I find it somewhat weird that we haven't figured out how to use that yet. Yeah, simply forgot about this spell. And yet we have actually, for all intents and purposes, finished the game without finishing the circus puzzle. We could potentially do it again to gain more experience. Mostly disappointed for Gleeser that he wasn't here to witness the final battles. Let's find our way to the Dragon's Cave. 8 forward, then an additional 3. We go rest here and recast the spells. jump. Formula for getting there is fairly well known at this point. Been there, done that, got that t-shirt. We've made it all the way here, ready for this fight, as ready as we will ever be. Here is the ancient dragon. Any of these spells something that we could potentially use? Potentially not. 250, 275. Nope. We still stand no chance of beating this dragon despite leveling up 25 or so levels. Try again though. Must be said as well that it's not out of lack of trying. We've certainly tried more than once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forwards. Again and again, turn, and again and again, and turn, and again, and forward, and again. Now we can rest here. Why is the cleric dead? Because he's very old, that's why. Unfortunate for him. Just try to rejuvenate him a little bit before we attempt to raise him from the dead. $73. It still seems rather old. I'd like to get him down a little bit. 68 sounds better. Let's bring him back. We're unsuccessful. Let's try again. We succeeded this time. It's a cast on the protection. Let's go in. The level of difficulty here is so crazy. Who remains? William Tell remains. So we'll attempt this tomorrow. We need to do a lot of work to go visit the Fountain of Youth, fight with Sarakin, DH the characters down to 23. Potentially we could try going through the fights in the square cavern again to gain some more experience. We might even attempt to try to finish the game again. We have a few levels of the castles that we need to take care of. Potentially we can look at the circus, but for all intents and purposes we are done with this game. So it's basically one stream, a cleanup stream, and then we will maybe I will do 2 more. I might do make it an even 32. We'll see. But now there are very few people left here. It's just me, and I think I have one lurker as well. So I'll just switch over to the face cam. Thank you all for coming, and hope to see you again. Let's head into the extra. Have a nice night, people. Sleep well. Hope to see you again soon. Later.